It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I'm still here in New York City, at a friend's house right now, but I'm watching these fights. Just got done watching the Jarrell Miller Mariuz Wach fight on the undercard of Daniel Jacobs versus Luis Arias, and I figured I'd give my little post-fight review on it before the main event starts. The fight pretty much went how I expected it to go. Jarrell Miller being the guy with better footwork, maybe not the devastating power to stop Mariuz Wach, but the better footwork, defense, hand speed. Overall, the better fight in the ring. Watt got maybe 1 to 2 rounds in that fight. I gave him the first round, and maybe you could give him one of the earlier rounds because he was landing some good right hands. But it was a fight for Jarrell where the longer the fight went on, the better he got, the more he warmed up, the more comfortable he was. He dropped his hands. He was, still getting hit with jabs, but, had the confidence to walk through a lot of, Marius Wach shots. So it was a fight where, he stepped it up a little bit in opposition, albeit against a guy who was older and had a style made to order for him. But still, big test for him. And honestly, with the performance he just had, and not just the performance, but the vulnerabilities he did show, because while he did dominate Wach, it was still a fight where he was getting hit with a jab pretty frequently. Wach hurt his right hand and was really only a one-handed fighter for the latter part of the fight, and Jarrell was getting hit with some jabs here and there. Maybe a little too much, maybe too much for his, than you like. And he showed although he won and looked good, he showed vulnerabilities, and he's shown the types of vulnerabilities that if you're a guy like Eddie Hearn, you'd feel comfortable putting your cash cow in there with an Anthony Joshua. And I fully expect for Eddie Hearn to go through with what he said in our interview this week, that he will bring Joshua here to the States and he will fight Jarrell Miller. I think that's going to happen here in probably New York City. I don't see why it wouldn't happen here in New York City as Anthony Joshua's first fight in America. It's a fight where he'll probably win. Against a guy who is a formidable challenge in Jarrell Miller, but you would be led to believe, based on what you're seeing, if you're Hearn or you're somebody else, that maybe he has something, but maybe not. He doesn't have enough for Joshua. So it'll happen. And overall, man, Mariuz Wach, credit to him. He wanted to, even though he was getting his ass whooped and was getting completely and thoroughly outboxed, he was still in there fighting his heart out, despite not only having a right hand. So much respect to him if that's the last fight of his career. Congrats on a solid career. And as for Jarrell Miller, I think he will get the Joshua fight. And when I talked to Jarrell, he said that maybe this is calculated, because one thing Jarrell doesn't get enough credit for is being smarter than people think he is. He told me in our interview this week that he actually wanted to show some vulnerability so that he could get the Joshua fight. So maybe as he has a Joshua fight, you see him cut down the weight. He looked pretty good at 283. Hasn't weighed that. That's the lowest weight he's been in quite some time. So for him to weigh at 283, I think if he fought a Joshua, you would see him get up for that fight. You would see him, get into the 270s, 275, 270. I think he lose some weight for that fight. You would see Jarrell take the good attributes he does have to him, which is his punch output, his footwork, his movement around the ring, and you would see those things multiplied in that fight. I'm not saying he beat Joshua, because I think he still has his habit of, even like especially when he gets in close quarters, he'll duck and he'll slip and he'll go beneath the waist and he'll come back, but he leaves his head there for like a second too long. And it happened quite a few times with Wach, and I've noticed it in some of his other fights. And he's been getting away with it against these guys, but when you fight a guy like Joshua, if he can take him to those later rounds, I think he has a great chance, because to be a guy who's 280 pounds and leaning on a guy like that, Joshua won't be used to that. But if Joshua lines him up with right hands early on, especially in those first 4 or 5 rounds when they fight each other, then it'll be a very long night for Miller. But it's still a fight that I'm intrigued by. I want to see Jarrell get that shot on the big stage. I think, for one, I think he's deserved it, with the way he's been slowly moving up in opposition. He started with Fred Cassie, then he moved to Jarrell Washington. Now he's fighting a Mariuz Wach. Obviously, none of these guys are world beaters, but these are guys that are credible names in the heavyweight division. 3 guys, that he's all dispatched of via TKO or KO. So in my opinion, he's earned the right to get some sort of title shot, whether it's against Joshua or someone else. I think it will be against Joshua, and if it is, I think we're in for a treat. I think it will be a good fight. And yeah, that's just my overall opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed the fight. Let me know what you guys thought about Jarrell's performance and How do you see him doing against Joshua? Do you give him any chance? I know a lot of people won't give him a chance. I think he would actually get up for that fight, and I see him like getting somewhere in the 270s, being lighter, being taking the things he already does well and doing them better against Joshua. I still ultimately see him not getting the job done, just because I think he leaves his head. He doesn't move his head enough. He moves his head, but sometimes he has this habit of just leaving it right there, not moving it off the line. So Joshua would just line him up for right hands, and I think he'd have a hard time. But I still want to see the fight. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.